No fear, we are here. Yes, Stevie P was gonna man the ship tonight all by himself, but I'm here. Everything is fine. Stevie P, just 5 minutes late, but we're okay. The soundboard is ready.
Ready.
Ready. So let's go with our new and improved 2.0 intro. Here we go, guys.
Welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Milan fans all over the world, with your hosts, Vinny Steve and Stevie P.
Benvenuti nella casa
Giroud in area, si gira, sinistro, rete, gol capolavoro di Olivier Giroud.
Mignon with another magical save.
Mamma mia, Teo Hernandez, coast to coast, del numero 19.
Leao carica il mancino. Eccolo qua, Rafa Leao.
Il Milan è campione d'Italia.
Cari amici sportivi, welcome to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast. Here we talk everything Milan. 5 days away from starting the season, Milan, and we had a pretty good preseason, Milan. Stevie P, Vinny T, we are here once again, like every Monday. Steve, we're 5 days away. Finally, do you feel the excitement in the air? Are you excited about the Serie A, or let me tell you, like the people on YouTube, you're very pessimistic. You're very negative. Anything negative to say about the Serie A, Steve?
Mercato was long this year, I find, and I imagine the season starting earlier. So I'm excited. I think there's going to be a nice campionato again. It's going to take us down to the wire again. So let's go. I'm enjoying all the negativity regarding Milan and their transfer market and how they're not favorite. It's beautiful. It's once again rinse and repeat from last year. And for the people that are gonna enjoy the next 38 episodes, I will be real. I will be straightforward. And to be very honest, I don't care. You don't need to like me. You just need to like the show.
That is it. And Frank, where's Jan is he's an intern. That we have a deal with him that depends on the presences, right, Steve? It's like if he doesn't come on every single game, we don't have to actually pay him. So, but we still have busted tweets this week. Fuji's and Funyuns, Stevie P, Stevie Positivity. The P stands for positivity. We will. Presidente likes these Google slides. Stevie makes us like the presentations. He gives us the housekeeping stuff. Before we get into it, maybe in the coming weeks, we'll try next week. We're gonna get the five families together and see, how are the Milan clubs around the world, in North America, what did they do for the first game this Saturday? We will be there. I will be there at 12:30.
I will be there.
Saturday. Fantastic. CVP is going to be there as well. We Milan Club Montreal. As we get into the housekeeping stuff, guys, before we do, just a quick reminder that to our friends, we keep on talking about them every single week. First and foremost, you are in Montreal. It's hot. This heat wave this weekend, Stevie. I came and see you. You were sunbathing, but I'm sure a nice ice cream would have been nice with that weather.
Yep.
Dairy Queen on Pinef. Just mentioned Milan Club Montreal. Get 10% off everything that's a regular price, whether it be a cake or an ice cream. That is Dairy Queen on Pinef here in Montreal. And if you do go, they will ask you not to walk in naked and have some sort of garment. So you can walk in with boxers, Steve, and a man-made boxers if you want to go get that ice cream at our friends manmade.com. T-shirts available, boxers, socks, and if you do mention when you do get it, like Timmy from Toronto said, we got heard from you from a Milan Weekly Podcast, they're gonna sprinkle a little Milan love, Steve, as you like to say it, right? So to our friends there, it is the new season to Chicharos on this Saturday. So this is a message to Milan Club Montreal. For renewing members, we're going to do a membership fee of $25. Any brand new members at 50 that you are going to get the official scarf. And for everybody else, discounts at various partners, win the prize at our events, share your passion with the fellow Milanistas in person or virtually, be part of an amazing family and take advantage of the networking opportunities. We will be there. I know Bizak is going to be there. He's just eager to see all of us. But would it be at Evangelistas 10% off on regular price stuff this Saturday 12:30? I will be there. Stevie P, you will be there. Presidente will not be there. We're the ones representing all the time. He's a little busy with the kids in soccer, but we're gonna get back.
Il Mister.
Il Mister. But can't wait to see everybody, right, Steve?
Yeah, it's gonna be nice to get back into the season as champions of Italy, ladies and gentlemen. And please, throughout the season, feel free to remind others of other teams, exactly like how I'm doing. Just whenever whenever shit hits the fan, just remind them that we are the champions of Italy.
Exactly. So stay tuned. We're going to be an email going out for all this information, and we will see you this Saturday. Steve, kind of popular. I think over 100 participants so far. I did put in the description. So Serie A Fantasy.com. You have the league code in there. I did put everything, like I said, in the descriptions. Stevie P, for anybody that is not, a beginner to fantasy soccer, and wow, what great prizes they're gonna actually come out for this one for the whole, like not just our league, but Steve, what is fantasy? What is fantasy calcio like? If anybody's out there and they've never played, what do they have to expect?
Yeah, it's a great site. It's having fun. You build your own team. You start off with a specific amount of money, and you're able to spend to the player's valuation. You can't choose more than 2 people from the same team, so you're gonna have to extend your calcio knowledge. I was never a big Fanta Calcio guy, and I thank Jan and the guys of the Fanta Calcio, Pino, Champion, Roma Napoli, Gianni, and everybody at the Fanta Calcio League that we're on for the shit talking. We've upped our game to a Discord, so now there's different channels and stuff like that for for our league. This Fanta Calcio League is a little bit more simple. Fantastic fun. I've had people messaging me, showing me their teams, and they want to see my team, and we're just exchanging shots at the favorite teams. I go by the non-Scarogna selection process, which is I choose almost no one from Milan unless I really have to. I'd rather win or lose with other players than Scarogna, my own players. So that's my head game regarding Fanta Calcio, but it's fun. And this league here allows you to do a couple of trades and modify your team throughout the year. What's cool about this is the whole league has fantastic prizes, like Vinny said, and not only that, there's weekly prizes. So you see the prizes that are up on the screen, guys. It's a league that's committed to Fanta Calcio and wants people to engage. Last I checked this morning, we were past 130 members of the Milan Weekly Podcast League. We want to hit more than 200. I think we can. I know there's a lot of people out there. You don't have to be from a specific region. It's free to join. It takes good fun, and you know what? You have bragging rights, and we'll continuously update everybody on the Milan Weekly Podcast League throughout the weeks to come, and as the season goes on. And there's gonna be trash talking, guys. So get your teams in. Let's go.
So these are the prizes that, the best players for throughout the whole. This is not just for the Milan Weekly Podcast, but no, actually, these are for the Milan Weekly Podcast because a MacBook Air, I believe. Okay, so MLP League, stay tuned. But here we go. So this is like for the all leagues, Steve. MacBook Air, a PS5. A 9th generation iPad or a 7th. This is like for everybody. And then you take a look at what is possible in the Milan Weekly Podcast. Steve, I think I might have to join. I think I'm just gonna have to pretend that I know what the hell I'm doing and pick out some of these players. It is free to join, so we have nothing to lose. Why not? So pretty cool to take a look at this. So Serie A, I repeat here, SerieAfantasy.com, and your league code right there at the bottom. Enjoy, definitely. Shane, hey guys, how can I join your Patreon? Been meaning for a while. Shane, thank you for that. It is in the description. You do have a link for the Patreon. And speaking of Patreon, we will have the return of the pregame chats. I will be back on Saturday with whoever wants to join. And we do have a special announcement this week. I just have to say, Steve, stay tuned. Just keep a look at the channel. So you have to subscribe, turn the notifications on, and you will see that we are moving on up. And Shane, thank you very much for supporting. Steve, we need a mush in the league, Vinny. Yeah, thank you, Larry. It might as well. But you see, Larry, it's when what happens is that if there's no money involved, that's where I win. So we'll see how it goes. Steve, 5 days away. Serie A starting. A lot of news back and forth. It's been a while. It's been a while that we've had a preseason this way. We know about the Mercato, how crazy it is every single year. We did have a convincing win against Vicenza on Saturday. Then we played, I don't even remember the name of the team on Sunday. They got a lot of 3 goals in 45 minutes. That's it. We're good to go. Is it okay for, I'm not saying getting too excited, but is it okay to get excited about this Milan side coming back from a Campione d'Italia, having some sort of reinforcements? Like an example, Adli, right? Is it okay to be excited about a player like Adli that we, from what we've seen, like on one side, it's like, well, I don't want to get too excited this preseason, or maybe just not overdo it. How did you take all of this preseason and the new additions?
For me, it's preseason. I don't. My goal in preseason is always come out of the game with some sort of positive, and please don't get injured. That's all I ask. That's all those games are for. Everybody's not at 100% coming off vacation, muscle soreness. Muscles are too relaxed. Sorry, not soreness, but it's to get into game shape, right? It's to be able to play 90 minutes in Serie A when it counts when we start next Saturday. Sorry, everything else is just hoopla, and it's people that use the preseason to either get something trending or get some more clicks on their page or on their social media account. But everybody knows in all sports, preseason is just that. Don't get injured. The NFL does the same thing. NHL too, preseason. There is people that are playing for positions though. Like I see Macias. He is coming up with a preseason where he needs to show that he's the starting right wing because it doesn't look like we're going to buy one. There's other players that are willing to show that they want to be a part of this Milan squad, and like the Potbegas, the Adli, the Kettleman, all these guys, they're playing for a spot. So I get the intensity, but someone like Giroud, someone like Theo Hernandez, Tonali, Benacer, Tamori, even Kalulu, I just don't want them to get injured.
Speaking of injuries, Tonali, everybody was fearing the worst, but it looks like he's going to be out 30 days. People panicking. We need a midfielder. Then Macias seems to have been hurt as well. Somebody had put a nice one. It's like, Maldini is in Spain signing Suso to get him to replace Macias. But I know it comes up to one of the questions on Twitter, but Tonali injured, Steve. People reasoning like for me, it's like it's just we went through this last year. Is there reason to panic with Tonali out for a month? Even let's say if he was out for 2 months,
Look, you don't want anybody to get injured, and we don't wish injury on players from opposing teams. But especially when it comes to our team, we don't want to see guys like that go down, especially with injuries like the groin. I paid attention to what D-Man Derek had to say in the chats there, and he says coming from someone who's familiar with muscle problems and being a physiotherapist. It was all about the grade of the injury, right? If it's something that's digestible, and it can only need rest and 20 days, but the groin is always a strange problem. But what's interesting about this, and Tonali, I remember watching one of the earlier preseason games, and if I'm not mistaken, it was the team we played against Hungary, where he went down and he just stopped, and he didn't come off and he stayed on. I'm just curious to know if it's something extended from what happened then, and if it is, then that's on Milan. You should have kept him out, right? There's no need for Tonali to be playing right now, and besides getting into game shape. Again, I don't want a Monday morning quarterback this. He's always going to want to play. He's going to want to get in game shape and be ready for Udine. But now we lose him for 20 days, right? So what's important is we weather this 20 days. I think, we have people that we can slot into the midfield right now. I'd like to see, Krunic and Pobega get some time. Again, I don't know what they're going to – I know it's going to be one of the questions. We'll see.
Speaking of questions, because there's quite a few, and by the time we answer them, because we usually talk and we usually answer some of the questions. So why don't we just go through them?
Boom! Good idea. Fantastic idea.
On Patreon, Fabio saying, "Hey boys, I think we had a decent preseason." Besides,
ciao Ale, come stai?
Ciao Presidente, il vero Presidente, come stai te? Tutto bene?
Tutto bene, grazie.
And speaking of Patreon, thank you to Sam that just joined on Patreon. Thank you very much. Have a look and leave some questions. Take a look at all the previous videos. But Fabio's saying, I think we had a decent preseason besides falling behind 3-0 in that one game. I've been happy with what I've seen from Macias. He's made a few goals and assists. I know we have a better right wing. I know we need a better right wing, but it looks like we won't be getting that this season. I expect a better second season from him. Am I crazy, or is this the lower teams making him look good? All the best, Forza Milan. So he's saying, is he crazy, or just the lower teams making him look good to Macias?
No, he's not crazy. Or honestly, I think we're having a chat there in one of the other of WhatsApp groups. Someone said, we're not going to give him the credit yet, but all the other teams are playing powerhouses, and Milan is playing against Serie D and Serie C quality caliber. Which to my response was, well, when you're a champion of Italy, you're allowed to pick who you want to play in the preseason, and they've chosen to play, lesser opponents. No offense to them, but just the quality you can see. And I don't mind that, just because again, it's get ready and please don't get injured. That's what I like to base myself on. And again, I don't get too high or I don't get too low when I see, Macias doing what he's doing against these teams. And again, on the same note, I won't get too high when I see someone like Adli doing what he's doing in these preseason games. The difference between the two is body language for me. Macias still looks like he lost his dog sometimes, and Adli looks like a new player who wants to get minutes, who wants to prove to his teammates that he belongs, and he has some grinta, which is, something that I like from a new player that comes onto a new team, where he's going to stand up for himself and for the jersey and for his teammates. That I cannot take away from him. So whether it's lesser opponent or whether it's a top tier opponent, his body language by far this preseason has been the most impressive.
And and to Shane, thank you, Shane, newest member to Patreon. Maybe it is. He used O'Brien. Maybe it's because he doesn't. His father lost his job, So maybe he's looking to jump on the Milan Weekly podcast. Doesn't have a job at WWE anymore. It's been a while. So thank you, Shane McMahon. Just like Renee Cumberbatch. So we have Shane McMahon and Doctor Strange on Patreon. Fantastic. Just remember, Milan beat Bayern Munich a few years ago when Cutrone had the breakout preseason. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Just the way it's nice to make fun of Inter with their really horrible preseason, but it's preseason, guys. Like me, I don't say
Yeah,
I don't
and
say
you
a
know
single
what?
word.
And even the papers don't do it any good. They make it seem like as if Inter is Noah's Ark and there's all kinds of holes in it. It's like, guys, come on, please. I get that you're looking for clicks and you're looking for interactions, but come on. When are the papers like Gazzetta dello Sport, Corriere dello Sport, Tutto Juve going to be accountable a bit? It's honestly, I used to love, going into the office or coming down in my home office, taking, a little bit earlier, taking some minutes to read through the articles or go through social media. I'm getting tired of it. It's always the same garbage. It's garbage now. It's garbage. I would love for one of these guys to have the balls, and I don't think they do, calling out the big papers in Italy, to have the balls to stop regurgitating this garbage to us all.
It's this day and age, unfortunately, whatever sells papers, right? Gio saying, keep up the great work, guys. I can't wait for the game on Saturday. Who do you think starts in place at Tonali, Krunic or Pobega? Also, thoughts on Rafael Onedika, the midfielder we are looking at. For me, I trust Moncada scouting of youth players. First off, Steve, Tonali, Krunic or Pobega? It's going to have to be Krunic.
It's going to be Krunic because Pioli won't want to gamble. But I would like to see Pobega get some minutes because, playing on loan to Torino, these are the games that, maybe not a lot of people paid attention to. But Pobega had some pretty quality games when Torino was playing teams that they were fighting position for. So I think that it's a good introduction to Milan. It's a good, hey, are you ready or you're not? But you're the champions of Italy. You're playing at home. Krunic has been one of those guys who you need to give a little bit of respect to, and I think he would deserve the start. And I don't think Pobega would make a big deal about it. And
No.
And Krunic is that Swiss Army knife, right? So you can
Pobega
put him
over
anywhere.
Bakayoko. That's
Anytime,
that's for
anytime.
sure, right?
Yeah, we said it last year. We wanted him to stay in Bakayoko, not even to be signed. So.
And this Rafael Onidika, whatever his name is, have you heard of this guy? I'm not going to pretend I know who this.
No, I have not known about this guy. I'm pretty sure we'll get tons and tons of articles on everybody who does know this guy, which would surprise me. And again, I agree with Gio. Yes, they're we look at the Mercato, again, some people a little bit more seriously than other people, as you see a Mercato like Roma has had, right? Again, nothing against Roma, great. You went and get Dybala, you rolled the dice, you're probably gonna roll the dice on Belotti too. Is this the solution for them? I don't know. I really don't. I know that Milan tried to do something like this and it didn't work out.
Not a
Didn't work
great signings so
Yes,
far.
great signings.
But how are they all going to gel, right?
Exactly. Will it work out? We don't know if it's going to work out. So I'm yes, you addressed a lot of the areas that you needed to address at Roma, minus the center backs and the defense core, which I don't think is good enough. But will it pan out? Because there's a lot of things that happen. And this is what we're trying to explain as Milan fans, the ones that are more normal that listen to the show, is we went through this already. We tried to plug every hole with a signing or a loan and an option to buy. For us, it didn't work out. It might work out for Roma, but let's be honest. Dybala hasn't played a full season in forever. Wijnaldum from PSG, Liverpool didn't want him. PSG didn't want him. Now he ends up at Rome, and magically he's the midfielder of the century. Matic got removed from a very, very, very terrible midfield at Man United. And again, he too is a midfielder. He's the closer of all closers. So we always want to pump our own tires, and Milan fans, we're guilty of this as well. We do this all the time. But again, when you have someone like Moncada doing the stuff that he's done with Tomori, Kalulu, those are the ones where no one's going to be able to call that. I'm not going to sit here and I'm going to say we're going to sign this player and he's going to be fantastic. The Kettleman.
So far we had the Kettleman, Moncada, and who's this new Roma player, Steve?
Malson. He's the
Malson.
Malson there. He's the
Wi-Fi
password.
Kudos to the guy that gave a suggestion. I don't know who it was on Twitter. Said the Cotolette, which was Cotolette was a pretty good one. But thank you for clarifying the pronunciations, Steve. Yusuf, hey guys, this is it. The episode before we kick off the season. I've got to ask you what your top 4 teams will be and who will be your dark horse team for the 2023 season. Thanks and keep up the great work. Top 4, I think, I don't see Napoli in that top 4 anymore, Steve. I see Juve, Milan, Inter, and Roma. I think on paper, those would be your top 4. But your dark horse, I don't know why, Steve. Lazio. I don't know if this is the season. I don't know if this is like the season that they actually like push back into the top 4. I don't. Fiorentina, I don't see them that they've done so much to be like a kind of a dark horse. I think Lazio, because nobody's talking about them, they still come up with some good signings. But I would say not for them. I would say dark horse in them overachieving what people are expecting of them this season. What do you have, let's say, for?
Yeah, look, I wrote it in the chat there. I think Inter, Milan, Roma, Juve are my slots for top 4. My dark horse is Fiorentina. I'm gonna give them another chance. I think I picked them last year too. I think they did some pretty cool moves. I think year 2 under Italiano, and we'll see what he can come out with. And now, let's face it, guys. There's no asset that's going to be going to Juve this year. So there's no one that they're going to sell off to Juve after they repeatedly say that they're not going to say anything to. They're not going to sell to Juve anymore. The Juve can't go get anybody from them right now. We'll see, but you never know because Juve always picks at Fiorentina as a farm team, a la Vlahovic and so on and so forth. But I think Fiorentina has done some cool things. I'm interested to see Jovic and see what he does coming over from Real Madrid. I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. Again, needs to stay healthy. And they have some interesting pieces that, Icone and Gonzalez, those that mix there. With a little bit of age in there too. The Bonaventura, I have a soft spot for him. So besides that, guys, I don't see maybe Atalanta too as another type of dark horse. It's like no one's talking about them.
They took quite a dip, Steve, last year.
Yeah, and I think that's what they like. They don't want to be talked about. The other ones, I think Inter's gonna have a bounce back year. Lukaku's back. That's gonna win them some points that maybe last year they lost. Juve, I just think that Serie A as a whole, unfortunately, wants them to stay in the top 4. And they're gonna, it sucks to say it, but I don't think they have a squad to stay in the top 4. I think anybody else could overpass them, but Napoli doesn't seem to be wanting to do anything to get back to stay in the top 4. I think Roma made a push, and I think Lazio's missing a little bit to get into the top 4.
Speaking of Napoli, you know what, Steve, I have a suggestion. How about just don't sign any African players? I think that would be the best thing. Don't sign any. One of my indigestions of the week, and the other indigestion I'm going to tell you after, but ADL. Sometimes when the stuff is in your head, and it makes sense in your head, but by the time it comes out, he came off as a complete fool, did he not, Steve? With that comment, and it's just like even as a Napoli fan, how can you? Yes, you had Berlusconi as a president. Yes, I understand, but okay. How can you even defend that comment?
You do what we've done for a lot of a lot of years. A lot of years, we had to deal with a president who was very outspoken and said things that maybe we weren't proud of, and just be men and admit that he's wrong. Just because he's the president of Napoli doesn't mean that he's the smartest person in the world. It means that he has money, and he obviously shelled out a lot of money to bring back Napoli to where they belong, and that's in Serie A, because we all want Napoli in Serie A. But besides that, he's not the smartest person. And that, happens to the best of us. We think something in our head, it sounds great, like you said, but when it comes out, it spews out garbage. And what he said just spews out garbage, especially especially now his best player is African. And, that's just too bad, ADL. Everybody else has to deal with the African Nations Cup. That's not their fault that it's in the middle of the season. That's on AFCON, and to figure out some way to straighten out that stupid tournament so that it makes sense and it's played in a time where it doesn't affect everybody's schedule too much.
Yeah. It's
But
just
then
like
we
every...
look at what FIFA did. FIFA awarded a World Cup to Qatar. No offense to any people who are from Qatar, but it's dumb, Vinny. It's dumb because it's going to be in the middle of the season again. So all the stuff that we've always said about AFCON, now we can also repeat towards FIFA. It's stupid. It's really stupid. And if I'm an owner of a team where they're paying for these guys, they've invested money in these guys. Now, you are breaking up their season to play the World Cup so you can make money. Don't quote me. I don't know how it works. I don't know what the clubs get back for sending their players to the national team, if anything. So everything stupid and everything that we've said, how dumb the AFCON is because it's in the middle of the year. Well, FIFA just did a hold my beer because they just did the same thing.
It's temperature, Steve. It has to do with temperature. Nicholas saying, excluding Leao, do you guys think Adli will be our shining light of the new season, or will someone else rise to the occasion? From what we've seen, I think it'd be, a diamond in the rough, especially if we got to go by, the scouting and how we've done a lot more good than bad. How about any other, maybe surprises for you, Steve? Oh, by the way, see, guy Maldini scored. Oh my God, what a mistake that we made to loan him out. Look, he scored on his first game. And it's like, I gotta love Twitter. But do you see anybody maybe coming out of their shell, or maybe giving us a performance that we've been waiting for a while? Maybe Macias.
This year, you hope someone like Salchicha Maker and Macias decide to at least be able to play soccer. I'd like to see an improvement from Tonali. I'd like to see him to continue to improve. I think what we saw was just the tip of that peak that he can reach, and he has to find more. So like, we won the Scudetto. I'm happy for the guy who wrote to me that I'm negative and stupidity, whatever.
Oh, I'm gonna read it out after.
Yeah. But the thing is that there's more. And you can't stop now. Now, this is the dangerous part of being the champion, right? Last year, these guys played with a big chip on their shoulder, and I think Pioli said it in one of the interviews where, everybody was saying that we can't win. Everybody was finding every excuse, and again, me too, I didn't really believe. Till the end, I didn't believe. Until mathematically, me and Kumbarajic were on the couch. Until mathematically, because that's just the way I was brought up to play soccer. I watched Istanbul, and after that, it was over for me. I will never, ever, ever, ever jump the gun on a win or jump the gun on a championship. Ever. There's not a lot of people left like us because that's scarred. It scarred me for a long time.
It's maybe like why I get pissed off at when there was World Cups, Euro Cups, that after the first game, they're already outside celebrating, beeping, honking their cars. I'm like, what are you guys doing? We haven't done shit yet. But speaking of, Steve, why don't I just read it out now? Marvin A. Flores, 6 days ago. Stevie P, who the hell is this we talk? Most of Most of were never thought on those young players. You know why? Because they are young. They have time to develop. Your negativity on these players is toxic. I don't know how long you've been watching football, but man, you need to grow up and seek help. Lay off the players. You were the person that did not think highly of this team last year. Still, in the last 10 games, you were negative. Again, seek help. This year, just sit there and watch and enjoy the beautiful football we play. So, Steve, seek
So,
help. Thank you, YouTube comments.
and again, I responded to him as nicely as I possibly can there.
Yes,
I
I saw
couldn't
that.
care less really what the comment was. The we is obviously the Milan Weekly podcast and what we talk about here. And I never put any words into Vince's or Jan's mouth. They're grown-ups. They can talk for themselves. My opinions are of my own, guys. And you're not going to change my opinion. I've said it multiple times, guys. I am a very hard-headed Calabrese. And when I say something, it's because I really thought about it and I really think I should say it. And again, I did not, because of what I just explained, believe, or I believe, deep down inside, I believed. I will just never say it because of what happened. Istanbul scarred me. And if you guys don't believe me, it's fine. Actually, if you don't believe me, take the phone, call Vince. Vince is going to three-way call his cousin Johnny because he's my witness, because we were at the exact same place watching the exact same game. And the young players, for us, this is content, my friend. And if I see something, which we obviously saw, and in the end, we were right. No? We were right on Leao. We were right on Tonali. When they play bad, I need to say that they play bad. When they play well, I have to bite my tongue and say that they played well.
And you did.
And
you
I do.
have,
I always do. And if I make a mistake, I will be the first one to say that I made a mistake.
You have these haters, and then one guy, I think he might have made a mistake, but Steve, you should have live streamed the preseason games. Orsoari TV went from 2.5k subs to 7.6k subs. I think people see you have your fans like you have your detractors. But thank you, YouTube comments. It's very interesting, and we keep on. And me, I'll always respond sometimes. Thanks for watching. Derek says, if you had to pick one more signing, who would it be, or at what position? He says, do you think we've done enough to get another star and get to win knockout game or two in the Champions League? Have we done enough? Do you see, if we had to pick one more, would you go center back, Steve? Would you go midfield? Would you go right wing? Let's say just one position.
One for me, I'm going to, people will kill me if I don't stick to what I want. I think we just need a right wing, because I think at center back, Kajar is back, and yes, he's long in age, but he brings experience. Now, you're gambling, right? So you have Tomori, you have Kalulu, you have Kajar, and you want to stick with Gabia. What's going to happen with that? I would try. We've gambled before, Vinny, right? We've done it before. We went to the Mandzukic way.
But how many times can we
failed.
gamble, Steve? How many times
we went
can
the
we
Mandzukic
gamble?
way, it failed. We went the Giroud way, it went well for us. So now here you have to find a way to make sure that we're gambling, but we have control of the chips that we're playing with. And I think at center back, if he can create a nice little rotation there, even sneak Gabia in a couple of games, I think the right wing would just make us so much more dynamic and just make us so much more dangerous on both wings. Again, this is all because we don't know where the Kettleman is going to play. We don't know where Origi is going to play. And I think that's Edwin Ortega's question from a bit ago. What can we say about Origi? And I saw the chat, and that's why I was paying a little bit of attention to the chat. And Edwin and I think Fuji's and Funyan and the guys in the chat brought up a good point. Origi, what is his position? Is he a number 9? Is he a right wing? And the Kettleman, is he, a center attacking midfield? Is he right wing? If you could slot these guys at right wing, then I want to give them a chance. But that's like a lot of bodies for the right wing now. It's impossible. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to buy guys who have, a multiple use at multiple positions. So yeah, Fuji's and Funyan, he says Krunic, another right wing, center, defensive midfield, and center back, right? I would love players like, but there's not a lot of them out there that are top quality. We're going into the Champions League, guys, as champions of Italy. We cannot do a brutta figura like Inter.
No, and you even have for the center back, it's like, okay, if Calabria gets hurt, there's that option of Kalulu, but if you take him out from there, I know there's Florenzi. Well, put Florenzi at right wing. So, if Florenzi, he's a great jack of all trades, but he doesn't have 90 minutes in his legs for every single game, right? So we'll see what comes up from there. And that is, if we only had the one choice to pick, that's if we sign somebody. You think we have enough to second star or win a knockout game or two in the Champions League?
Look, I think that they have enough moving pieces to be competitive in 1.5 competitions.
Okay.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that Milan could win the Champions League. Look, guys, we're not deep enough. There's teams like Man City, PSG, Liverpool, Chelsea. They almost have 2 teams over there, and teams with high quality, high impact, right? Can we I think the Scudetto is an open race. I don't think it's as close as everybody thinks it'll be. I think it's going to be a little bit more open, but again, it depends. A lot of things happen during the year, and this year is going to be a weird one, guys. There's going to be a stop in the middle, longer than usual. Some people are going to be on vacation. Some people are going to be playing 90 minutes, if not more. So it's going to be another weird season. Do we have enough? I think we do. And again, it depends on the new signings and how quickly they integrate and how healthy the teams could stay. Because this Scudetto for me is like 2 sprints. You're going to sprint to the World Cup, you're going to rest, and then you're going to sprint all the way to the end.
We shall see. And like we always like to do, Steve, 10 games in, mid-season, and then we judge at those times, and obviously at the end of the season. Vinny Mancini saying, good evening, gentlemen. Season kicks off in less than a week, and I cannot contain my excitement. I'm really hoping our lovely Milan comes out firing. What we have shown during this preseason is enough to get you excited. Looks like the team is still in form. Players are looking in great physical shape, and the determination and passion to go for number 20 can easily be seen. My question, we have a pretty fair starting 5 games. Udinese, Atalanta, Bologna, Sassuolo, Inter. What do you think the boys will deliver after let repeat that. We have a pretty fair, okay, Vinny is the glass half full kind of guy. Udinese, Atalanta, Bologna, Sassuolo, and Inter. What do you think the boys will deliver after the first 5? I'm thinking 3 wins, 2 draws. Now, of course, I would love the 5 wins, but I want to be reasonable for the start of the season and the pressure on the team's shoulders to repeat. What are your predictions? So, Udinese, Atalanta, Bologna, Sassuolo, Inter. Well, for my sake, that I'm going to be there live, I want to see a win. I'm predicting a win against Inter, but are we going to be content, Steve, with 3 wins, 2 draws? Or is it just 4 wins? Is it
obviously we always want max points there, but I think at the beginning of the year, with a lot of teams coming at Milan very, very strongly, because they'll come at us strong. I think 3-1-1. That's 5 games, right?
Yeah.
I think 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. That's what we'll end up with. We'll end up with 10 points.
Fuji is funny, and 15 points only. We got super positive people here. On Twitter, Steve, we had I love how Francis asks us a question on Twitter, even though he's a member of Patreon. And I sent him a text message. I'm like, why don't you just come on, And he's, tonight, the soccer. I'm like, are you ever going to come on? No. He said he's still mad. He still can't digest what happened from last season.
Yeah.
He still hasn't accepted what happened last
No,
season.
he won't accept it. He
I
won't
could just-
accept it.
He won't accept
He
it.
loves this kid loves every other team but Milan.
I love it. I says, hey, boys, which team do you feel would be the most improved compared to last year? And what team do you feel has regressed the most? Basically, are you jumping on the Roma hype train? Obviously, we got to go by on paper, Steve, but most improved. Does Juve have a claim?
No, absolutely not. Juve sucks. They're terrible.
Steve,
They have 0 center backs.
you have Pogba that's going to be out for 2 months. You have Di Maria that has the speed of a young Messi, as I've been reading. So it's been a while. I haven't heard your Juventini voice, but so far on paper it has to be. You came up with the Roma voice last week, but is there anybody else than Roma?
No, I think you can't go against Roma and what they're trying to do. And again, it's a team that has passion. There's passionate fans about it, but again, the Mercato is very evil. The Mercato, she's a bitch. She's a bitch. She shows you a little bit of the leg, but then after she closes it up, it's over. It's how the results, how they turn in the season and how healthy. And there's a lot of factors, and I don't wish injury on everybody. It's just, look, we've seen it, Dybala had the injury problems, Pellegrini injury problems, Zaniolo injury problems. There's a lot of guys that have faced injury problems. If they stay healthy, they will probably be the most improved team.
Definitely. And, Franco
The regressed team is Napoli.
Regressed is definitely, yeah. It's just, I don't think there's even a discussion.
This is unfortunately the same thing that happened 2011, 2012 with Milan. Not at that level, but too many people left Napoli at the same time.
Zayek, he's saying, should we get him, Franco? So, should we get him? A quanto cost? If he wants to get 4 or 5 million a year, it ain't gonna happen. So it all depends. La volontà del giocatore, Steve. You have Serie A tipster saying, who are your top picks for fantasy, Steve? Do you have any insider trader information? Who would you go? Who would, for you, do you want to go get, Jan was talking about an obscure players, or what would be your best pick?
Yeah, like I said, I don't like to go with a lot, and I think we'll have a question, from Serie A Fantasy League, their Twitter account, asking who are the top picks for Milan. Again, like I said, I stay away from Milan players just because of the bad mojo that I get when I pick these players. But in all fairness, I try to go after starting players. After if it's a weekly one, like we're doing with Serie A Fantasy, try to see who they're playing against. If it's a very defensive team, maybe try to stay away from them. Some people try they want to stack their team, the Lukaku, the Vlahovic, and everybody. If they can fit them in the price tag, they're gonna fit them in. I try to go with just some rare starting players from other teams, depending on the matchups, that will try to get a goal, an assist, or stay off the books, because that's the most important things: goals, assists, and not get bookings, because you lose points.
At obscure others, what does this management see in our existing right wing that we as fans are not able to? It's a pretty good question. It says, how convinced are you?
They see an investment. That's what it is, guys. They've invested in 2 right wings that have not panned out. For them, they need them to pan out to either sell and recuperate some of that money, and it's a bit of pride, right? So for how many hits Moncada and Maldini and Masada have, the miss at right wing is glaring, right? So they need those guys to perform, to either flip and sell and upgrade, or at least keep a little bit of face.
How convinced are you with the transfer strategy when you see them let go several established stars who went for free agents? Galliani would have signed several of them. the transfer strategy for me, honestly, I think this leaving on a free has become some sort of a new norm. I think we're going to be seeing it a lot more. Would it be guys like, people want to talk about Kessie, people want to talk about Donnarumma. It's funny how nobody pokes fun at Manchester United for Pogba, right? Like, he left on a free. Mbappe was going to leave on a free until this Volta. So
Everybody
it's
leaves for free now. No one's gonna want to play. If European soccer doesn't adjust itself, they will
Yeah.
be in deep trouble, because there's not a lot of teams that can hand out Mbappe money. That's for sure. And when
unless you have pretend money like Barcelona,
by
Steve, that you open up,
Barcelona, exactly. And look
open
at the
up
trouble
companies.
that Barcelona's in, right? They're going to their players, and that's my indigestion of the week is, and we'll start it off right away. And it's Barcelona having to, make up their own rules, basically. The way they're selling their TV rights to another company, which is not really another company. It's them starting another company with another company so that they can buy back their own rights, and that company will only take the profits. What's going on over here? What's going on? When is UEFA gonna step in and say, "Hey, this is a mockery. This is stupidity."
Let me put this in perspective, Steve. Let me twist this over. What if Juventus would have done something like this?
We would have.
It would have been the end of, like, they
Yes,
would have been,
yeah.
So why is Barcelona created a new company, got together with this other company as a created this company together, said that Barcelona put in 150 million, but they only put like 6 or 7, took capital gains to go buy this future. And now this Frankie de Jong, if he doesn't go, like, they can't register those players. It looks like a Ponzi scheme. But how is it that nobody's batting an eye, Steve?
No, they're not. When they wanted to start the Super League, everybody from UEFA resurrected from the crypts of Dracula's lair. Superliga. But Barcelona, they're playing with monopoly money here, guys. Monopoly money. My friends at the Barcelona podcast here, get out your monopoly money, because that's what you're playing with now. It's a disaster. A prestigious club, for how much we suffered as Milan, and we think, as either Milan Weekly Podcast content creators or, guys who love Milan, how we suffered when we were kind of playing with monopoly money too. This is now happening to Barcelona, and Shane is saying Barcelona can't lose, though. The
They're gonna
problem
get
is
bailed out,
that they
Steve.
have to lose. They have to lose. Someone has to enforce something on them for them to restart clean, because
if they get bailed out,
Yeah.
there's no consequences to
there's
their
no consequence.
actions.
And it's like the world is. There's no consequence, and no one's going to be held accountable. Imagine you would be doing this, you would be doing this with a friend, and you would get caught. You would do hard time. You would do jail. You understand? It's almost fraud. It's Ponzi schemes. So, like, I get the financial powerhouses. No one can touch this 1% of people, but the league, the La Liga needs to step in. UEFA needs to step in. Like, how can this go on? And then if they can't register the players, what happens to these players? Lewandowski, Kessie, Rafinha, they all don't play this year, or they go back into a pot and people pay more money for them. This is out of control. It's my indigestion of the week is Barcelona and the shit show that UEFA and La Liga are making them go
Is
through.
letting them do, yeah. Evo on Twitter, I know we answered it, but still gonna read your question. You guys keep up the great work. I love your show. My question is, if we only get the one player, who do we prioritize? An additional midfielder, central defender, Forza Milan? We did answer that before. Alla destra, hey, Vinny and Steve. My question this week involves the hypothetical that maybe management has not addressed all needs of our team. What are the fields most surprised Maldini and Co have not improved? We've answered that one as well. Alla destra, and Chris saying, assuming we are all 100% fit, who do you start? Kajar, Kalulu, and for the striker position, Giroud or Origi? I think Kalulu and Giroud for now, because the other ones, especially 8 months without playing, Origi has been.
Kalulu and Giroud start no matter what.
Steve, before my indigestion is gonna go when I saw today of Domenico Berardi just losing his shit there after the game. I think he was going after a fan. No matter what reasons he had to lose his mind like that, you're in the public eye. You're getting filmed. It's just not a good look for Berardi on
I
that one.
disagree. I think it shows a bit of passion. I think it shows that, you know what, these people come there and we don't know what they yelled at him. We don't know what they yelled at him. And as much as he's in the public eye, he's also a kid. He's also a kid, and you know what? Sometimes people snap. And you know what? Maybe it's gonna take some people to snap. And people need to be held accountable about what they say and what they do. And I'm not saying he's right,
Yeah.
but someone triggered him to do that.
How about a feel-good moment, Steve? Any brioche for
Serie A is starting in 1 week, ladies and gentlemen. That's my feel-good story of the week. Besides that, I've been trying to stay away from the madness for a bit, just to get back into my real life, which pays me, work. And again, also another feel-good moment is the amount of participation in our Fanta Calcio League.
Yeah, it was nice to see.
More than 130 people. You guys, you don't have to be Milanese fans, so send it out to your stupid Juventini, Roma fans, Napoli fans, Lazio fans, all these guys who really think they're top dog in all their Fanta world. Make them join the Milan Weekly Podcast League so we can make fun of some other people on the show.
Did you see Bob Sinclair, Steve?
Yeah, that's also another
That's pretty cool.
really strange that he didn't even know where the hell that was coming from. Like, someone should have told him. Like, his song doesn't exist anymore. His song is purely on fire now. He should basically just change the lyrics again.
But it wasn't his song. I think it was just guest DJing and his.
And he didn't know what was going on. Yeah, whatever.
Steve, last week you made an announcement about the busted tweets, that there was going to be the Lupo Award, the Lupo Trophy.
Yeah, tonight we've decided we are giving out our first ever Lupo Award for busted Calcio tweets tonight.
Gentlemen, ladies, what did Jan have for us? So here we have at Azzurro Bowen. It's discrimination, really. I mean, responsibility as a journalist is to recognize reality. Napoli has most consistently contended for the better part of 10 years during the Juve run. And Jan says, take a look at the second one because the context of it. Who's your favorite to win Serie A? And your bias is showing, Frate, this isn't responsible journalism even.
It's because he doesn't have Napoli in the top four.
Because he didn't have Napoli in the top four. Now, Matteo Bonetti, Steve, is he a journalist? He's not. He's a commentator, right? And how is putting a poll journalism?
I have no idea, but you see, like, this is crazy. This is where people, like, they want other people to be accountable, but this is the reverse. This is, you want people to be accountable for something that they should not even be accountable for. He believes that's his top four. He puts his own poll for the top four, and this guy gets mad. So then what? The Atalanta fan, the Cremonese fan, they're going to get mad at Bonetti too for this? Like, come on, guys, man. You don't have anything else to do?
You got to love it. Next one. What do we have? Next one. We have at Romantics. Rome's objective this season is still top four, still a process. We aren't trying to win the Champions League. The team doesn't have to be perfect. Milan won the Scudetto with Romagnoli, Tomori, and Kalulu. We can do top four with Smalling, Mancini, and Ibanez. Chill and enjoy.
But didn't they have Smalling, Mancini, and Ibanez?
But he's comparing.
These guys are crazy. Vinny Gats, if you're in Florida, this is why I laugh at Roma, my friend.
It's exactly the same.
We can challenge with Smalling, Mancini, and Ibanez, Vinny. Those are the defenders you had last year. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
My God, guys, give them some credit. Roma fans, put it in your goddamn head. We are 19 times Scudetto winners. 19 times, guys.
But the tweet started out good.
No, but let me
objective,
finish. Let me finish. You guys flambéed the greatest Italian player possibly of all time. You won one measly Scudetto with the greatest Italian player of all time. Like, stop. I get that you love Twitter because you guys, the Roma antics, the Lupos, they could all go type and run away and never talk about it anymore. But let's talk about soccer, guys. You guys batti goal. You guys had De Rossi. You guys had teams that would, that you, unfortunately, FIFA Fair Play came and destroyed you guys too because you had to sell off a lot of your assets.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, you didn't have that extra gear, that extra Mercato to buy someone to help these guys win. And you constantly want to compare Roma to Milan. Stop comparing, guys. First of all, we are the Campione d'Italia. We are Scudetto winners. You guys had 10 years while we were sleeping and didn't do anything. Zero. You guys want a bonsai tree. A fucking bonsai tree, Vinny. That's all they have. How many times do we have to say it? Why do they constantly want to compare? Don't compare.
I don't know. I just, when I was reading this one, it's just, I think I'm the one that sent this one. It's just like, okay, top four is still a process. We're trying to win the champ. We haven't and then I just read that. But it's like,
But if he would have stopped at that, it would have been a perfect tweet.
Yeah, it would have
Maybe
been.
it's
It would have been.
It's over. It's done
Yeah.
with. You go ahead. You don't even get noticed.
Ah, boy. Steve, is it the fourth one or do we have 5 today? Hold on a second. Okay, no, yeah. So, at Giovanni 2712, no abbiamo preso Dybala, Wijnaldum, Matic, ma vorrei fare i complimenti anche al fantastico mercato del Milan che con il duo Maldini-Massara ha fatto un capolavoro. So, he's basically saying that, look at who we got, but throwing shots at us and like, hey, you guys did a really good mercato to Massara, and this team hasn't done shit yet. We spent 280 million 5-6 years ago and still managed to do shit. And it's like the season hasn't started, and we're taking shots from Roma fans. Of all fans in Serie A, we're taking shots from. I think, what was it that time that, as soon as you start mentioning Milan, you just get some clickbaits, and it's all these Roma fans
Yeah.
coming out of the woodwork,
Yeah.
Steve.
They just love mentioning Milan. I don't even understand what this is about. I don't get it.
It's just basically saying, like, you know what, being sarcastic that, hey, you guys did what a fantastic job. So yeah, because all these players that they just took, like, they haven't played a single Serie A game yet, and we'll see. We'll go from there. Steve, are we ready to divulge our yeah? So, guys, this is our first ever Lupo Award for Busted Tweet of the Week. Steve, siamo pronti?
Go.
Ragazzi, ciao Ale, come stai?
Ciao Presidente, il vero Presidente, come stai te? Tutto bene?
Tutto bene, grazie.
Presidente. I am
The
not
ultimate
saying he is
sin.
Kaká, but the kid's body language and look reminds me of a young Kaká. Presidente, we already know how we feel about comparisons. Never compare a player, but Steve, he's not saying he's Kaká, but he's saying that his body language reminds him of a young Kaká. So he was trying to dip. President, I'm sorry, we love you, but you take the first Lupo Award of the official first Lupo Award.
It's the ultimate. You cannot go say that you did. You can't start off by saying I'm not saying he is Kaká, but then end off with saying that his look reminds me of a young Kaká. It's basically you're saying he's Kaká. We made this mistake before. A lot of people have done it. It's something that throughout the years I tried to stay away from the most possible.
The Tonali,
Just make the Kettleman be the Kettleman, and that's it. Kaká is once in a lifetime generational talent that we were very lucky to have passed through Milan for glorious years. Let's just leave it at that, guys. Don't leave the Baresis, the Maldinis, all of them. Leave everybody alone. Because there's not going to be another Messi. There's not going to be another Ronaldo. There probably won't be another Kaká. And these just the new players, there's going to be the Haalands, there's going to be the Mbappes, they're going to do what they do. And just be happy that you got to see these people play, because there will not be any other one. There's not be another Totti. There's not going to be another Baggio. These are guys that, take the time, guys, from whenever you're born. I'm going to date myself. I'm 81. I can't tell you that I've been watching soccer from 81. I would be lying to you. But I like to start off at the 90s.
Yeah.
I think that's when I started to remember things a bit, and if I go down the list of people that I would be able to name off that we've watched games of or maybe seen in person, it's a pretty good collection of players, guys, and just be happy. But the first ever, if you told me that this would have happened, I would have never known.
As soon as I sent you guys that's it. He's won the
Yeah,
award.
it
the
was
Presidente.
set. We chose our winner, Presidente. He wins
The first
the
ever
first
Lupo
ever Busted Calcio tweets
tweet of the week.
Lupo Award.
Sorry, Presidente, you deserved this one, especially with the whole comparison. And Steve,
And we're obviously gonna get a rebuttal, right? We're gonna get
yeah,
guys. I didn't mean it that way, guys. You guys are stupid. I didn't mean it that way.
we're gonna get a message like this long, right? And did you see that there's the one guy that, remember when he had called Bentancur the Uruguayan Pirlo?
Yes.
It's
yes.
from
You finally go back.
it's from a February episode, and the guy retweeted it like 6 months later. Oh, look at these idiots making fun of me. It's like, okay, dude, you're a bit yes, Larry, the Lupo. The Lupo goes to, so definitely Presidente, we love you, but first ever official Lupo busted tweet of the week. Stevie P, it's Serie A. We got 5 days left. Can't wait until we start. I know Premiership already started. Ligue 1 started again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
and
wait, guys. I want to take just a moment to congratulate the winner of the 2022-2023 Scudetto Championship for August, Roma.
say that again.
I would like to congratulate the winner of the Scudetto Championship, Campione d'Italia 2022-2023 for August, Roma. Grande Roma. Campioni d'Agosto. Grande Roma. Roma. Campioni d'Agosto. Roma.
Stop.
Roma.
The European champions. They're European champions as well. Steve.
Sorry, I'm so sorry about that.
Oh man. Okay. So Milan Montreal, we shall see. We shall see each other on Saturday. Yes, Fujis, how did the Premiership head to they went to Fubo. Fubo will have that. And to Fubo and Serie A. You know what? Whether we know you're on Fubo or not, why don't you make an announcement? Guys, catch us live 5 days away. Catch us here, wherever you're watching. And to Husney, welcome to the club, buddy. Because Husney last year in the Middle East, they're watching on YouTube for free. Now they got to pay on BM.
I gotta pay, buddy.
You got to pay. And for Patreon, welcome again to the newest Patreons. And we will have a pre-game chat this Saturday. Stay tuned. There will be another special episode this week with a big announcement.
Huge news.
Huge. Steve, anything else that we're forgetting?
Let's go, guys. Serie A starts, guys. Get your jerseys. Get your this year's jersey. Oh, we can't. Puma. They didn't send it to us yet. Get whatever apparel you can get for this season, guys.
Steve, the Milan Club Montreal, you get your 10% off. But we didn't say when you're going to get the shirt. Evangelistas, whenever they get it. So whenever they get the T-shirt, do they have any August Serie A winners? Maybe for Roma. Maybe those ones are available for at Evangelistas.
Campione d'Agosto. La Roma è campione d'Agosto.
Guys, ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan!
See you guys next time. But ciao. You know what? Did I forget to put? No, I did not forget to put the intro. Ovunque sempre. Forza Milan, guys. Ciao.